Hey everybody, welcome to the Hidden Heroes Talk Show. My name is Ariel, and today's guest speaker is Rito. He's calling in from India. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for
Will
hosting.
Absolutely. Will you just introduce yourself, where you're from, a little bit about yourself, your hobbies?
All right. So it's way early in the morning for me to be fresh. So it's 5 o'clock in the morning right here. I'm
Oh
from
my goodness.
Bangalore, India. I didn't have a good night's sleep, but I'll try to be myself as much as I can. So my story. So India is a huge place, and my schooling was from this place in the Himalayas, which is it's a small little town called Shimla. It's a very popular hill station there, and but college was mostly where everything got started. So what I did was while I was in college, so I had a girlfriend while in college, like most people do, and um, so the way it works in India is that your parents fund your entire college and your entire pocket money and all of that. But having a girlfriend, increased all of the expenses, and you had to pay for her food and dates and all of that. So what I did was I started freelancing online. I started building websites. I started doing some designs online. And over a period of about 3 years, while I was in college, while my friends were out partying and while everybody was having a gala time, so I was working and typing on the internet and doing my own stuff. And it slowly grew into a full-time kind of a business, and I learned so much in the process. And uh, by the time I graduated, I had started a company, and so I've been running that company for around 5 years now, and it's an internet marketing. So we've actually helped our whole goal with the company is to help people start off businesses. So basically, my goal is to create as many entrepreneurs as possible in the world. And over the period of last 5 years, we have taught about 27,000 people, how to market online, how to bring your local business online, how you can create your websites, search engine optimization, all of the online marketing things, how to basically create a business online. So my whole goal with this plan is like I want to create about 10,000 entrepreneurs by the time I die. So I want to have like 10,000 people who have created their own businesses, have started everything, and so that was how the company started. It's been an amazing journey. So we've got two beautiful offices here, and I've got to interact with so many nice people. Being so young in the industry, initially nobody talked to me, seriously, but slowly with time, with experience and all, and hands-on experience. So I didn't have anybody to guide me through the entire process, but the entire hiring process, managing people, and sometimes firing people, and so all of that I had to learn with the flow. And I made a lot of mistakes, but it's been a beautiful journey. And so my recent thing is now I've started. So what I did was about 3 years ago, I think. So about 3 years ago, somebody told me about this thing called a dream board. So yeah, so which I initially thought was a joke, but then I slowly started believing in manifestation of your dreams and how you can actually make your dreams come true. So what I did was I created this whole dream board and just went crazy with it. So I had like a private jet on it, I had a private yacht on it, I had all of these big dreams that I wanted to fulfill. But then the guy who told me about the dream board concept told me that if you know for I mean, I don't know if many people know about the dream board concept, but it's basically a board in which you place pictures of all the things you want to achieve with your life. So you take out print out of the pictures and paste it, and that board will be right in front of your bed. So whenever you wake up in the morning, so that's the first thing you see, and then you can imagine all those things that you want to achieve. So that's what I started doing with my personal life, and my business goals, my personal goals, and one of them was to write this book, which is now out. So that was amazing. So it really works, basically, the dream board concept. Yeah.
That's awesome. I absolutely love it. I am huge on dream boards, as you see.
Oh
I'm
my
wondering.
God. You have your own. That, It's really nice. Yeah, I didn't get a good look at it, but yeah, it's nice.
I love it. I couldn't agree with you more. I actually have a big dream board, and I copied it, and then I carry a small one with me everywhere I go. So it's just a little miniature
It's
size of my dream board. But I agree with you. I love your goals. You said 90,000 entrepreneurs by the time you die. Is that what you said? Did I hear you right?
10,000. 10,000. So
10,000.
10,000. So the not just create entrepreneurs, but people who actually have their life businesses running on the in the real world, who are actually making money, who are actually providing jobs to other people, who are actually running offices. 10,000 such people. So so that's a business related goal. My actual goal is because in India you get to see so much poverty. So you've got the richest rich people in India. You've got the poorest poor people in India. And any city you stay here. So for example, I stay on the 11th floor here, and from the 11th floor you actually can see the slum area. And so about 2 years ago, so we had this idea that we should do something for the slum kids because the government wasn't doing much to provide education. So just recently, we opened our first school in which we teach the slum kids and straight up from the primary education, and then we take them to the government schools where they can actually, complete their learning. So that is the main goal, actually, to help those people on the right path because the government isn't doing much here. Um, Plus, another new project that I'm working on is again related to the slums, where uh, so basically there's this whole concept of a solar umbrella that I created, and so a lot of people don't have electricity here. By the way, they don't have the basic amenities such as a light bulb that you and I take for granted. They don't have that facility. So what the entire idea of the solar umbrella was that it will be an umbrella shaped device, okay, like an umbrella is. So if you put it up a roof of the umbrella and then open it up like an umbrella, the panel that will open up at the top will be the solar panel, and the solar energy will get stored in battery during the day, and then people can light up their homes during the night. And this can do so much for the children who want to study in those houses, but they don't have electricity, so they can't study at night. The women in the family who want to cook or want to talk or want to do anything, so they currently don't have any means to do that. A lot of people are living on those lanterns, those oil lanterns, which still run on oil and fuel. Very primitive kind of methods, but that's the way it's done. So, but like I believe that because there are so many people in India, so the number of problems will always be lesser than the number of people who can provide solutions. So I want to be one of those guys who can provide solutions to those people, especially because over the last few years, I've created somehow a good decent chunk of money that I've set aside for those tasks, like for the school and for the solar umbrella project. And yeah, those are like the big goals that I want to do, like in the future, like achieve complete, like if India could get electricity, every household of India, if you could get electricity, then that'll be the best goal
That is
possibly.
awesome. I love what you're doing. You truly are a hidden hero. And then you also wrote a book as well, right? Called When She Smiled.
Yes, that's the project that I'm working on currently. So that was the smallest thing on the dream board that I could achieve. So I decided to just go for it a couple of months ago. I finished the novel, I think, about 2 months ago, and it's doing really well. It's just released on Kindle now and in paperback edition in the US. My main book launch will be in India in the paperback edition because that's where the entire story is based, and that's where the main market is. But it's doing really well on Kindle as well. So, so yeah,
That's
that's
awesome.
also really.
Can you tell us what the book is about? Can you give us a brief synopsis?
So the book is about a young teenager. His name is Roy, and it's about his journey over a period of a year, where he goes to school. He has his own kind of problems at home. His parents want him to keep studying, but he wants to do something more with his life. He wants to fall in love. He wants to go on adventures, and he wants to do a lot of things, but he's not been able to do that because his parents are quite restrictive, and he has that kind of family. And so what happens is then he meets a girl in school who completely changes his life, and then it's basically the entire story is a point of view of Roy. So you actually go inside the mind of Roy and travel with him as he goes through all these adventures over a course of 1 year. He falls in love, he gets his heart broken, there's problems at home, then he resolves those problems. There's a lot of things that happen. So it's a simple story, and it's something that every teenager has gone through. Like, we've all had that puppy love times in which we don't really know what's happening, but we just think about that guy in our life, and that's all we can think about. And we believe that if they are not in our lives, then everything else is all rubbish. So it's about that kind of extreme thinking that a teenager has. But then yeah, so that's the basic crux of the story. But it's actually a really simple story that anybody can relate to. The idea for this came while I was reading. I don't know if you've read it, Catcher in the Rye, by J.D. Salinger. It's a 1950s novel. It's also a very kind of popular novel. It's sold over, I think, I don't know, some ridiculous millions of copies over the years. It's also a very simple story. I read that like 7-8 months ago, and I was like, if this story can become such a hit, then I definitely have a story to write. Actually, I was reading this interesting stat that about 75% of US people want to write a book someday in their life, but very few actually go around doing so. I think that's because we all have stories to tell. We have all lived lives that are worth mentioning. So everybody has a story, but not many get to do that. Uh, and I feel quite privileged that I had the time and the resources to write the story down and get published. So really
That's
grateful.
awesome. But good for you. I actually published a book this summer,
Yeah.
so I
Love
did
you,
this.
love me, love me. I've done some research. I've done some research on you as well. Your
Nice. That's
Instagram is
awesome.
quite popular.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Your Instagram account is quite popular.
Well, thank you. I have a lot of fun with it. What advice would you give to aspiring authors, those that want to write a book?
So the way I started was I had no clue. So I still am learning the how the entire publishing industry works. Uh, with every new thing that I've done in life, my entire thing has been that you have to set everything aside. You have to drown out all the noise, because there'll be a lot of people in your life. Maybe it's family, maybe it's your friends. In most cases it's your friends and the colleagues around you. If you tell them that you want to do something with your life, they'll probably be like, no, why do you want to do this? You're comfortable with your life. There's so much negativity around us that if we drown out all that noise, if we are able to just focus on what we want to do, then we can do magic. We can create magic. And that's what I've always done. Whenever I have doubts in me, I realize that it's actually not in me, but around me, that I so basically I just drown out all that noise, and I decide that I want to focus on this task at hand and complete it. Because
Yeah.
when I started off, I was doing some research on how long a novel should be, and all. Because I'm a research freak, so basically I go online and do all sorts of research before starting anything. Uh, it seemed like a daunting task. Like you have to write like 60,000 words, 70,000 words minimum, and I was like, that's a big number of words that you have to write. But then once you start going at it, right? Once you just keep a mind that every day you have to write 3,000 words, no matter what happens. No matter what happens, just sit and write. That's all you have to do. Put your thoughts on paper. And once I started doing that, just in a few weeks, it was all done. So uh, I think that's true with almost everything new that I've done in life. And I think for anybody who wants to write a book, just go for it, man. Just go for it. Dalai Lama once said that this share your knowledge, because that's the only way to achieve immortality. So uh, if you want to, because our time on this planet is very limited. So if we want to, leave something behind, I think it's knowledge that we can leave behind and our thoughts. And the best way to do that is through all. Earlier it used to be through books, but nowadays it's through all of the other media that we have as well. But yeah, books also are a great way of communicating and sharing your knowledge. So I think everybody should do that. Doesn't take much effort. Yeah.
I absolutely love it. I love what you're talking about, love what you stand for. It's very inspirational. I completely agree. What you said, focus on what you want. That's how you create magic. I love it. Our time is coming to a fast halt here. Do you have a quote or affirmation or a favorite saying that you live your life by that you're willing to share with us?
I have so I have a couple. Um, uh, so there's one quote that I read in Reader's Digest that has stayed with me all these years. My mom used to have these reader subscriptions done back in the day, and so I read that quote one day and it stayed with me. It goes something like this: Look towards the sun, and the shadows will fall behind you. So basically, if you look towards the good things in life, then everything else falls behind. And it's true literally as well, because if you actually look towards the sun, then your shadow will be behind it. It's true figuratively as well. And there's another thing that I don't really know the source of this one, but this is something I truly believe in, and that's how I've done everything in my life. I think at least for the last decade or so. It's So a lot of people around me, I noticed that not just around me, in the entire planet, a lot of people run after money, and all of their goals in life are around materialistic things and things that are bought and got with money. I don't believe that. I don't believe that your happiness and your goals in life should be around things that are materialistic and the things that money can buy, because happiness is never achieved through money. I have experienced both sides of the spectrum, and I understand that completely. So there's this quote that goes, "It's not about the currency, it's about the legacy."
Ah.
So it doesn't. So we all have that limited time in our hands, right? One day we've all got to go into the grave. So nobody will remember us. So even if we make like $1 billion and then we go out in the dust, then nobody will remember us if we have not done anything. If we have not done anything to leave our legacy behind. So there's so many people who don't make that much money, but who do things in their life that people remember them for. And that is what you should strive for, to do things that leave your legacy behind. So I think that's what I truly believe in. I think, yeah.
I love it. I'm actually going to repeat that when you said it's not about the currency, it's about the legacy. That's awesome. Well, Rito, it's been an absolute pleasure. You truly are a hidden hero. We thank you for being on the show, and I hope you have, I know it's crazy early, so I hope you have a fantastic rest of the day.
Thank you. I'm going to sleep now. I've been up all night, so I'm going to sleep now. But it's been great. It's been great talking to you. And I love what you're doing with your website, Deep in Love, and your suicide prevention hotline and all of that. I was going through all of I was researching the stuff that you do, and it's really inspiring. And it's nice to see people like you in the world, and who are doing good selflessly.
Absolutely. Same to you, sir. Same to you. I love what you stand for, and I really hope you get your solar umbrella happening. So thank you. Thank you to everybody else listening in. This is Hidden Heroes. My name is Ariel, and today's guest speaker was Rito with his book, When She Smiles. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.